Welcome to Business Reporter's Digital Transformation Campaign. I'm Georgie Frost. Artificial intelligence promises to create value for enterprises, whether it's by identifying inefficiencies in the supply chain, optimizing marketing campaigns, or detecting potential fraud. But how do you get there? While it might seem impossible to successfully implement an AI-driven transformation, it's not as hard as you think. In fact, you already have all the resources you need to get started today. In this interview, Peter Lee, RapidMiner's President and Chief Executive Officer, and Andy Walter, retired SVP of Procter & Gamble and RapidMiner's Board and Strategic Advisor, will use real-world examples to walk you through how optimizing the use of your people and data together can help you get your desired future state. With all this excitement around the new technology, we can perhaps sometimes forget about people. So how are organizations underutilizing their talent, and why is this so harmful?
What has consistently cropped up with virtually every major organizational study on AI is the significant lack of data science skills and talent in the organization. And I think what we see some common pitfalls in terms of how organizations are trying to solve that is they go in one of two extremes. They either outsource to some expert consultants, or they insource to a handful of Jedi Knights that are appointed to make organizational transformational change, and both are very hard to scale.
But the reality is, you have talent there. You know, this is about investing in the talent that's there, because guess what? They know your business, they understand your business processes, and now with the trends like low code and no code and things like that, you can really invest in these people and really drive the organization that you need to pull this off. And not only that, but you're going to create an incredible culture when folks see you investing in them.
Yeah, I think it's just so important that your organization has people, expertise, and data, and it's important to upskill your organization. Ultimately, competitive advantage can't be outsourced. Right. It has to be a permanent cultural adoption of data literacy, of analytics literacy, of really the application of these digital transformation initiatives to business problems. Yeah. You must drive revenue, you must cut costs, you have to manage risks better. Your people are best positioned to execute against that program. Analytics is really a team sport. I think the most successful organizations really embrace that. They really understand that it's important to incorporate the expertise of domain experts. They may be in supply chain, Andy. They may be in sales, talent management, in the plant for operational efficiencies. They aren't going to have a data science title. They're not going to even have an analyst title. And then you'll have other people who are data engineers or data analysts who are very, very skilled at data manipulation. You've got to bring them together. Yeah. And I think in order to do that successfully, organizations that win have significant executive sponsorship to bring these silos together in a collaborative team sport effort. That's how you win.
Yep.
You mentioned data. If organizations are underutilizing their people, how are they doing so with their data?
They're underutilizing their data really in two areas. One is there's so much data that they're not taking advantage of, and they're struggling with that. You know, they haven't figured out how to deal with the amount of data that you talked about earlier and building it into their business processes. The other challenge in underutilizing their data is they're waiting until it gets perfect. They are just going too slow. I see too many C-suite executives that have a 2 to 3 year plan to clean up all their data and fix all their data, and then they're going to create some business value. The reality is most of them are gone in 18 to 24 months because that's a total failed model. You've got to start fast.
We are absolutely data rich and insight poor. And the emphasis has to move to the insight and the analytics, and not to this paralysis by collection. And I think the important part in beginning these data science projects immediately is that you are going to have insights immediately. The data will never be perfect, but as you begin to break down barriers and break down silos, you'll begin to notice how you can improve your data collection, how you can incorporate AI-driven insight immediately into business processes. And that's really an important point, which is that insight without action has no value.
Yeah.
I mean, Ernst & Young has a very interesting survey where nearly 90% of executives say that data should be at the heart of every decision. And yet, most organizations would admit they aren't there yet. And so I think the struggle is really not on the data side where you're drowning in data, but it's really in mapping really important business problems to take advantage of the data. And so we work backwards from the business imperatives, whether it's revenue, cost, or risk. You've got to start with real business problems and then begin to work backwards and take advantage of the data that does exist today.
Yeah, there's the old nomenclature that data is the new oil. The reality, it's not. What is leveraging that data, leveraging analytics and AI, and getting better business decisions as a result of it. Analytics has become a currency. You can leverage it inside your company, and you can even leverage it with your partners externally when you do it well.
What other elements do you need to develop a successful strategy?
Our most successful clients, one of them is one of the world's largest paper companies. And in their adoption of AI transformation, which by the way they've published in their annual report to investors, they talk about how AI has transformed them from a paper company to a sustainability organization. They're able to have their cake and eat it too. They're able to drive significantly better paper yield on their manufacturing, but that equally reduces environmental waste. And now you've got the benefits of really data-driven transformation.
Well, that's awesome. They hit the last two parts of a great strategy. They got clear on what is success and how we measure that, and then what are the management systems needed to drive it, all the way down to the shop floor.
Yeah.
You know, to everyone in their organization to drive sustainability.
Better example of that is one of our clients that competes as one of the world's leading pizza brands. But they don't perceive themselves as a pizza company. They perceive themselves as an analytics-based company focused on delivering extraordinary customer experience. And all of their decision-making is built around that customer experience. And I think, you know, when they look at their competitors, Andy, 40% of consumers who have a bad brand experience don't come back.
Or take the appliance company that no longer is an appliance company. They're now a data company because every one of those appliances is IoT enabled, sending the data back, and they're able to become a service business, to be able to become a product business. And oh yeah, they still sell appliances, but now data is their lifeline. It's the lifeblood of the entire company.
What advice do you have for executives who can see where they want to go but find themselves struggling to get to that desired future state?
First, executive sponsorship. You know, this has got to be driven from the top. This is core to the company's future, and you need to be championing it at executive level. Second is find partners that are willing to invest in you and invest in your talent. You know, it's not just about the tools, it's also about helping you be a better at what you're doing. And then third is make this part of an overall AI and data strategy. You know, be choiceful on where to play, how to win, what are the capabilities you're going to need, and drive this forward.
And I think, Andy, you've got to start now. I think there is no time that's better than right now. There is no doubt that organizations that wait for perfect data are going to get eaten for lunch by their competitors. And I think the other part of it is this is a journey. You know, executive sponsorship is really important on that journey because that journey is going to break down silos. It's going to reimagine the disparate, unconnected parts of the organization as a cohesive whole. And the combination of really beginning now and really beginning to help the organization train for success is going to result in success.
Everyone's really busy, but what they don't realize is they're drowning in the day, they're drowning in the day-to-day, and there's this incredible new capability of AI that can really help them on this transformation. Every company's been on this digital transformation, Separately, they've been kind of playing with analytics. Now it's time to bring it together. We're at an incredible inflection point where every business process can be enabled and driven with this AI capability.
It's both, I think, the Japanese have a great saying. There's Kaizen, which is continuous improvement, and Kaikaku, which is really transformational improvement. And I think too often organizations think AI is going to be that transformational impact all of a sudden, when really it's a journey. It's a journey of competitive advantage. It's a journey of people transformation, tooling transformation, and ultimately upskilling your people to take advantage of data analytics.
Yeah, and to your point on competitive advantage, I'm starting to see this incredible trend where this AI can just really create a competitive advantage in all of these, and organizations need to get started now.
So that was Peter Lee and Andy Walter from RapidMiner.